Somewhere out there is a single object so massive that it could swallow our entire solar system more than 40 times over, and it would not even notice. Somewhere out there is a star so magnetic that when its surface cracked, it slammed into our planet's atmosphere from 50,000 light years away. There's a region of space so empty that if we lived inside it, we might have thought we were completely alone in the universe. And there is something even worse, a possibility so terrifying that some scientists genuinely lose sleep over it. A wall of destruction that could already be racing toward us right now at the speed of light, and we would never see it coming. You're about to count down the 12 scariest places in the known universe, from the coldest spot in existence all the way to the thing that could erase reality itself. Stay until number 1, because it is not a place you can visit. It is a place that could visit you. Let's begin. Number 12. The Boomerang Nebula, the coldest place in the entire universe. 5,000 light years away, a dying star is blowing off its outer layers. And as that gas expands into space, it does something almost unbelievable. It gets colder than space itself. The Boomerang Nebula sits at just 1 degree above absolute zero, minus 272 degrees Celsius. To put that in perspective, most of empty space is warmed to about 2.7 degrees by the leftover heat of the Big Bang. This nebula is colder than that ancient background glow. It is, as far as we know, the single coldest natural object in existence. The dying star at its heart is hemorrhaging material 100 billion times faster than our sun, and that runaway expansion is what chills it so violently. It is beautiful, delicate, almost ghostly, and it is a preview of how a star quietly dies. But the universe gets much less gentle from here. Number 11. HD 189733b, the planet where it rains molten glass, sideways. 64 light years from Earth is a deep cobalt blue world about the size of Jupiter. From a distance, it looks almost like a bigger, bluer version of our own ocean planet, which is exactly what makes it so deceptive. That blue is not water. It comes from clouds packed with tiny particles of silicate, the raw material of glass. On the scorching day side, temperatures soar over 1,000 degrees Celsius, hot enough to vaporize glass into the atmosphere. Then winds screaming at up to 5,400 miles per hour, 7 times the speed of sound, blast that glass around the planet. As it drifts to the cooler side, it condenses and falls as rain. But at those wind speeds, the rain does not fall down. It flies sideways, a horizontal storm of molten glass, shards moving faster than a bullet. It is one of the most beautiful worlds we have ever found, and one of the most lethal. Number 10. The Great Attractor, an invisible force dragging our entire galaxy toward it. Right now, without you feeling a thing, the Milky Way is falling. Our galaxy, along with thousands of others, is being pulled through space toward a single point about 250 million light years away, moving at roughly 1.4 million miles per hour. The thing pulling us is called the Great Attractor, and the terrifying part is that we cannot actually see it. It sits directly behind the crowded, dusty heart of our own galaxy, in a region astronomers literally named the zone of avoidance, because the Milky Way's own light and gas block our view of whatever lies beyond. For decades, we only knew it by its pull, a gravitational anomaly so powerful it is rearranging our corner of the cosmos. We now think it is an enormous concentration of mass, tens of thousands of galaxies worth, at the center of our home supercluster. And we're sliding toward it, helplessly forever. Number 9. Betelgeuse, the dying giant that could explode at any moment. Look up at the constellation Orion, and you can see it with your naked eye, a reddish star marking the hunter's shoulder. That star is Betelgeuse, and it is a red supergiant so monstrously large that if you dropped it where our sun is, its surface would swallow Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, engulfing everything out past the asteroid belt. It is around 700 times wider than the sun, and it is dying. Betelgeuse is running out of fuel, and when a star this size dies, it does not fade quietly. It detonates as a supernova, briefly outshining the entire galaxy. In late 2019, the star suddenly and mysteriously dimmed, and for a few months the world wondered if we were watching it die in real time. It turned out to be a giant cloud of dust it had coughed up. But make no mistake, Betelgeuse is doomed. It could explode tonight or 100,000 years from now, and when it finally does, it will be the brightest thing in our night sky, visible even in daylight. Number 8. The Magnetar, a star so magnetic it could kill you from halfway across a continent. When a giant star collapses, it can leave behind a neutron star, a city-sized ball of matter so dense that a single teaspoon of it would weigh billions of tons. Now take that already nightmarish object and give it the strongest magnetic field in the universe. That is a magnetar. The most extreme one we know, catchily named SGR 1806-20, has a magnetic field so powerful that if it were as close as the moon, it would wipe the data from every credit card on Earth and rip the atoms in your body apart. And these things are not stable. In 2004, its surface cracked in a starquake, and in 1/5 of a second it released more energy than our sun produces in 250,000 years. That burst traveled 50,000 light-years across the galaxy and still hit Earth hard enough to physically disturb our upper atmosphere. It remains the most powerful blast ever detected from beyond our solar system. 50,000 light-years away, and it still reached out and touched us. Number 7. WR-104, the star nicknamed the Death Star. 8,000 light-years away spins one of the most hypnotic and unsettling objects in the galaxy. Two massive stars are locked in orbit, and one of them is a Wolf-Rayet star, a dying stellar monster shedding its outer layers. As the two stars swing around each other, their stellar winds collide and spiral outward, creating a vast, glowing pinwheel of dust that turns like a cosmic sprinkler. It is genuinely gorgeous. It is also a loaded gun. When a Wolf-Rayet star like this dies, it can collapse and fire off a gamma-ray burst, the single most violent explosion in the universe. A beam of radiation so concentrated it could sterilize a planet from thousands of light-years away. And for years, astronomers worried that WR-104's spin axis, the direction that beam would fire, was pointed almost directly at Earth. More recent measurements suggest we are probably off to the side by a safe margin. Probably. But it is a reminder that some of the most beautiful things in the sky are also the most dangerous. Number 6. The rogue black hole, a killer wandering the galaxy completely invisible. Everyone pictures black holes as fixed monsters anchored at the centers of galaxies. But some of them roam. When a massive star explodes, the recoil can kick the black hole it leaves behind out into interstellar space, and it starts drifting through the galaxy alone in total darkness. There could be 100 million of these rogue black holes hiding in the Milky Way right now. And here is the horrifying part. You cannot see them. A black hole emits no light. One could be silently crossing the space between the stars, and we would have no way of knowing, unless it passed almost perfectly in front of a distant star. In 2022, that is exactly what happened. Astronomers caught one for the first time, not by seeing it, but by watching it bend and warp the light of a star behind it, a phantom detected only by the distortion it left in the sky. It was drifting through the galaxy about 5,000 light-years away, utterly alone, utterly dark. And it is only one of millions. Number 5. The Boötes void, the great nothing at the edge of understanding. Imagine a sphere of space 330 million light-years across, and imagine that inside that unimaginably huge volume, there's almost nothing at all. That is the Boötes void, one of the largest known empty regions in the universe, and it is so barren that astronomers nicknamed it the Great Nothing. In a chunk of space that size, you would expect to find around 2,000 galaxies. The Boötes void contains roughly 60. It is a hole in the cosmos so vast and so empty that if our own Milky Way were sitting at its center, we would not have discovered that other galaxies even existed until well into the 20th century. We would have looked up, seen nothing but blackness in every direction, and concluded that our galaxy was the entire universe, alone in an infinite emptiness. There are objects in space that can kill you, but the Boötes void represents a different kind of horror, the sheer, crushing scale of cosmic loneliness. Number 4. Sagittarius A star, the sleeping giant at the heart of our own galaxy. 27,000 light-years away, directly at the center of the Milky Way, sits a supermassive black hole 4 million times the mass of our sun. Its name is Sagittarius A star, and every single star in our galaxy, including our sun, is slowly orbiting around it. In 2022, humanity did something astonishing. We took an actual picture of it, linking telescopes across the entire planet to capture the glowing ring of superheated gas circling the edge of the abyss. And what we saw was a monster, held right now in a relatively calm state, quietly sipping on gas and dust. But supermassive black holes do not always sleep. If a star or a gas cloud wanders too close, Sagittarius, a star can flare to life, tearing that matter apart and blasting out radiation across the galaxy. It is the anchor our entire galaxy spins around, a 4 million solar mass sinkhole in space, and we are all, very slowly, circling the drain. Number 3. The Quasar, the brightest and most violent object in the entire universe. When a supermassive black hole is not sleeping like ours, when it is actively, savagely feeding, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes a quasar. As enormous amounts of gas spiral into the black hole, they heat up through friction to millions of degrees and blaze with light, forming an engine at the core of a galaxy that can shine thousands of times brighter than every star in that galaxy combined. The first one ever identified, called 3C273, is so luminous that if you swapped it for a star just 30-odd light years from Earth, it would shine as brightly in our sky as the Sun, from across 2 billion light years of space. Quasars also fire out colossal jets of plasma from their poles at nearly the speed of light, beams stretching for thousands of light years. They are the most powerful sustained explosions in existence, single objects outshining entire galaxies, powered by matter screaming as it dies on the edge of a black hole. Number 2. Ton 618, the largest black hole ever found, a monster beyond comprehension. Everything we have talked about so far has been building to this. Sagittarius A star, at the center of our galaxy, is 4 million times the mass of the Sun. TON 618 is roughly 66 billion times the mass of the Sun. It is one of the most massive black holes ever discovered, so heavy that it outweighs every single star in the Milky Way put together, and there are hundreds of billions of stars in the Milky Way. Its event horizon, the point of no return, is so vast that our entire solar system could fit inside it more than 40 times over. Light itself would take weeks just to cross it. If you replaced our Sun with TON 618, its darkness would swallow everything out to hundreds of times beyond the orbit of Pluto. It is so far away, over 10 billion light years, that we are seeing it as it was when the universe was young. And it is not a place. It is an appetite, a gravitational abyss so deep that nothing, not even light, has ever escaped it, and nothing ever will. And number 1, the scariest place in the universe is not a place at all. It is a possibility. It is called vacuum decay. Here is the terrifying idea. The emptiness of space, the vacuum, might not be truly stable. It may be sitting in what physicists call a false vacuum, like a ball resting in a shallow dip near the top of a hill, seeming calm, but able to roll into a much lower, deeper state at any moment. If that ever happens, anywhere in the universe, even by pure quantum chance, it would create a bubble of true vacuum, a region where the laws of physics themselves are rewritten. Atoms could no longer exist, and that bubble would expand outward in every direction at the speed of light, destroying everything it touches: stars, planets, galaxies, all instantly rewritten out of existence. Because it travels at light speed, you would get no warning whatsoever. There would be no flash, no sound, no time to react. One instant you exist, and the next you simply do not, along with everything you have ever known. It could be triggered right now, 10 billion light years away, and be racing toward us this very second. We would never know. That is the scariest place in the universe. It is everywhere, and it is the end of everything. Which of these terrified you the most? Tell me in the comments. And if your mind is still intact, go watch our video on the strangest things in our own solar system next, because the universe is far weirder than you have been told. The universe is not a safe place. It is a place of dying giants, invisible predators, and forces so vast they make our entire world feel like a grain of sand on an endless beach. And yet, here we are, tiny, fragile, and somehow able to look out into all of that terror and understand it. Maybe that is the most incredible thing of all. This has been Wondersphere. If this blew your mind, subscribe, because there's a whole universe of the impossible still to explore.